Hello everyone, this is Sensei Gale and thank you for joining me. In today's video we're going to go over how to properly step forward and perform punches to the face, punches to the stomach, and deliver front snap kicks. I'm going to do this from a couple of different perspectives to help aid you on your quest to understanding Shotokan Karate. To begin, I'm going to come straight at the camera, and the starting position in this case is a neutral stance. I have my knees slightly bent, feet are shoulder width apart, beneath my hips, beneath my shoulders. I'm going to bring my left hand to the right side of my neck, simultaneously bringing my right hand to the middle of my body. So it looks like this. I'm going to bring my right foot in and slide back into position at the same time. You want to have your feet and your hands, any part of your body that is equal but opposite, have the same amount of tension, have the same starting point and the same ending point. What I'm referring to is, in this concept, very early on in karate that we develop, it carries all the way through. When we block, we don't block leg going back, then arm going back, then another arm retreating. No, it's all designed to simultaneously come in, simultaneously explode. This delivers the most consistent flow of energy. It helps you execute your movements as fast as possible, and it just generates the most amount of force. It's a part of your concentration too. It shows that you are mentally capable of continuously progressing forward, doing more and more tasks, making your body do more explosive, dynamic, complex motions. We start off simple, and we get more and more advanced as Shotokan Karate develops. So to break this down once again, I'm doing three things at once. My right hand's going to come into the middle, my left hand's coming up to the side of my neck, my right foot's coming to the middle. You see that? I did three things at once. Now, rotating into position, performing a strong downward block. You want to rotate on the way down, bringing your hands into the previously mentioned supinated grip for your retrieval hand, pulling it back, palm up, pronated grip for your front hand, the blocking arm, knuckles up. As such, in, and now, the reason why we stepped in is to emphasize the concept of this letter C, reverse letter C foot position that we do all throughout Shotokan Karate. That was a lot of a breakdown before we even got into punching, but is necessary to help guide you to be able to do the best karate possible. Not just what the movements look like, but the reasoning behind them, and really break it down so that you're doing it as accurately as possible. With my right foot back, my left fist a couple of fist distances above my left knee, and my right fist back, my body is also angled to minimize the amount of surface area that I have. You don't want to block forward like this because you have this much surface area. When you're like this, if you don't properly deflect a punch or deflect a kick and you absorb it, you're absorbing less, and there's a greater impact. There's less of an impact and a greater likelihood of that punch or that kick falling off of your body. Also, you're able to generate more power coming from this stance going into a forward stance. In this case, we're about to deliver a punch. So once again, you want to have your waist rotated, but be looking forward. Front knee bent, back leg straight, hips shoulder width apart, feet shoulder width apart. Now we're coming in, and we're going to do a letter C with our back leg coming forward. Stepping forward, we're coming to the middle, and now into a punch. Stepping forward to the middle, punch. Stepping forward to the middle, punch. Yeah, punch. So as you can see, it's creating these letter C's with each step. That was 4. Typically we'll do 4 or 5 based off of your space. You may have room to do 7, you may only have space to do 2. Let's see how many I can get right now. Feet are shoulder width apart. Left hand over the right side of your neck. Right fist is going to come in slightly to the middle and downward block. This is strong. My fist landed at the same time as this fist got pulled back at the same time as my right foot got back into its starting position. I'm going to do a letter C, and as I do a letter C, I'm not landing, then punching, then pulling back. No, I want my right foot to land at the same time as my right fist finished its punch and my left fist pulled back into position. Because to reiterate back to a previous video, when you're punching, you want to have as much tension going forward with the punching arm as you do your pulling arm coming back, as if you were simultaneously elbowing someone behind you as you are punching someone in front of you. So to begin, once again, we're in position and we're going to come forward and punch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and return. I'm going to now turn my back to the camera so that you can see what I look like traveling away from you. And at the same time that I do this, I'm going to break down to you the clock-based system. In this case, you are all shadowing me. If we're looking at an analog clock, or the way a sundial would operate, in front of us is 12. Then we have 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 4, 5, 6 directly behind us, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, back to 12. So, with you shadowing me, let's see if you can visualize our foot placement and make sense out of the clock-based system, because this will help you a lot as your development of Shotokan Karate is progressing forward. You can see my feet. I am facing 12 o'clock. I'm going to bring the left fist to the right side of my neck. My right fist is going to go in slightly to the middle of my body. My right foot comes in, and my right foot steps back into a downward block. Okay, where are my feet now? Well, in front of me is 12. My left foot has become 11. My right foot is on 5. Now as I come in the middle and shoot out here and punch, where's my right foot? My right foot is now on 1. My back foot is on 7. I'm going to step forward and punch. Left foot 11, back leg, right leg, 5. Step forward and punch. Right foot is 1, left leg is 7. Step forward and punch. Left leg is 11, right leg is 5. Hopefully that makes sense. You think of the middle of your body going forward and back is going 12 and 6. Your left and right is going 9 and 3. The clock always is the way it is. The clock's positionment doesn't change. Your feet change around it. You're facing forward, that's your 12. If I say bring your right leg back onto 5 o'clock, facing 12, right leg back onto 5 o'clock. Because we have 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So my feet, since they're shoulder width apart, mean that they are just to the left of being 12 and 6. See how my left foot is just to the left of 12. So it's in the 11 o'clock spot. My right foot is just to the right of 6. So it's in the 5 o'clock spot. If I step forward and punch, I cross the middle and I explode out. Now my right foot is just to the right of 12. So it's on 1. Meanwhile, due to my feet being hip distance, shoulder distance apart, my left leg is now on 7. And so forth. 11 and 5, 1 and 7, 11 and 5. Why we do this is to generate the most amount of speed and power coming forward. similar to rollerblading or ice skating. You're moving forward and back in letter C's, reverse letter C's. Not only does this help generate the amount of speed you have going forward and coming back, but when you're in an actual martial arts situation, whether it is at a tournament or on the street, if it would happen to be, in a fight, as you're moving around, there's a lot of feints that you develop. There's a lot of lateral movement. There's a lot of muscle required, not just in a up and down calf machine-like position or an up and down squat press, but those muscle groups, your gastrocnemius, your soleus, and your calves, all of the little fibers surrounding your knee joints, your big groups like your quadriceps and your hamstrings, they all have small fibers around them too. And doing Shotokan karate like this, you're going to develop a lot of additional strength on top of what you would get out of normal one range motion exercises with gym equipment, for instance. So performing these letter C-like motions, not only does it help you propel more quickly going forward, but it helps set you up to being loose so you're not rigid. When you're in an actual fight situation, you can move forward. Just left leg followed by right leg. You could switch back. You don't want to cross over, but that's another time. But you could go side to side this way. You could go at an angle and switch legs. You could dance around your partner. Now, like I said, we'll discuss more as the course goes on, but if anything, you would want to treat your Shotokan karate movement as if it was a tennis match and you're the person that's dictating where the ball goes, and you have your opponent scrambling to the left, scrambling to the right, so that he or she is the one that's expelling a lot of energy. You want to be the one in control to make your opponent move. Let them burn their energy. Don't do it yourself. That being said, though, it does take a mastery of understanding how to move properly and have good cardio and so forth that goes with it, so that when you are in that situation, everything that you learn theoretically can actually be applied properly. So keep that in mind, that there is a reasoning why you step. It is not this. 1, 2, 3, 4. Shotokan karate, for as powerful and as strong as an art that it is, it's not rigid. It does have fluidity, it does have elegance. It's just that it puts the body into very strong positions, and that's why it looks static, but it actually flows really well. Eventually, it will feel as natural as it is running with your arms and legs going in opposite directions and not right arm and right leg and left arm and left leg. No, that's not how we run. A good karateka, a good karate practitioner, doesn't run that way in the world of karate. We have a flowing, natural understanding which embodies kinesiology, and then the ability to wrap your head around the concepts and physically be able to execute them. It's all a long journey, but if you know the fundamentals in the beginning as to why we do them, it will only help your path continue, and you'll become better and better Shotokan karate practitioners. Let me come forward to you one more time, this time with stomach punches. The target zone for a stomach punch should be your midsection. It could be your diaphragm, it could be your sternum, it could be the belly button zone, but it is distinctly lower than the face. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah! And return. Inhale. Exhale. Same thing if I were going away from the camera. Right foot in, right leg back, downward block, and stepping forward to stomach crunches. 1, 2, 3. Kicking, we're airborne temporarily. We're airborne with one leg. So how do you achieve the letter C concept while you're kicking when one leg is airborne? I'll show you. The block is slightly different, but we bring both arms up and both arms back at the same time as our foot comes back into position. We're kicking in the middle of our bodies, so that's kicking at my 12, but landing at my 1. That's kicking at my 12 and landing at my 11. 3, 4, and so forth. The height that you want to be trying to achieve with your front snap kicks should be your own midsection. You can certainly aim to the mustache, upper lip zone, or beneath the jaw, and that is why it's important to keep the toes flexed up, ankle extended out, and aim your trajectory in the first place that your kick is being dictated by how high your knee is. If your knee is this high, you have to swing to achieve your kick. No, you want to penetrate. You want to deliver a forward thrusting, snapping, whip-like motion with your leg when you're doing the front snap kick. Let me show you what it looks like to perform 5 front snap kicks from behind. Okay? Arms together and back into position. We're going to front snap kick now. We're shadowing each other. You're shadowing me. Our left leg is planted on 11 o'clock. Our right foot is on 5. And we're going to front snap kick towards our midsection at 12. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah! And we turn. We will get into proper turning for now. Reset yourselves. Try to get enough motion, enough space, I should say, from the wall to however you are watching this video. And now I'm coming at you, we're coming at each other, okay? Feet neutral, arms up, and double downward block. 5 times front snap kick to your own midsection. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Inhale and come back. Now you may wonder why the arms out to the side. What's the deal with having this type of position and kicking? What's the advantage? Is there an advantage? And yes, there is. This isn't necessarily something that's practical or that you would use in a fight. You know, if you're in a tournament, you would look pretty cocky and pretty foolish if you were fighting someone like this with no regard of his or her own ability to possibly punch you. It would be bad form. You wouldn't be ready for a block. That's not the idea. Likewise, you wouldn't do this on the street if you were being attacked by somebody or any type of other fight scenario, because once again, this doesn't do anything. Why we do it in basics, and this relates to one of those things that I say, just because we've learned to run, we never stop walking. Just because you learn how to fight properly and deliver a front snap kick at somebody from a fighting tournament style position doesn't mean you ever stop practicing the basics. But what does it mean, right? The basics, the concept behind this is as if you were holding 2 5-pound small buckets of water. You don't want any water to tip out over the bucket. You want it to be smooth and flat. This helps the body build up muscle control, the ability to simultaneously engage 2 different chambers and have them work together. It's like one of those things of, can you tap your head and rub your belly at the same time? Or can you go forward with your right arm and back with your left arm at the same time? You know, a different physical challenge. And in this case, your upper body wants to react accordingly to your lower body, or your lower may want to stay rigid if your upper is rigid. One stay flexed, the other stay flexed. There's so much variety in Shotokan karate, and I like to teach from a kinesiological standpoint where I like to break the norm, teach some traditional Shotokan karate fundamentals, but also break into it and do what's not typically taught, because when you're in a fight scenario, oftentimes what you've learned may or may not work. So I like to try to teach more. But the overall basics of this kick is to develop muscle control so that your mind is linked upper and lower body, that you don't have to move, that you don't have to lose balance. You are establishing your core to become stronger. Then, yes, then when you're ready to engage in kumite, to engage in one-on-one combat, then you are ready to move up your arms. Now you may grab somebody. Now you may block. Now you may counter. Now you may do a combination of punching and kicking and punching and returning. That all comes in time. But like I said, even when you've learned and gotten a good grasp and can execute combinations effectively from a real sparring-like scenario and kick and put your arms as they would be, you still want to go back to the basics and perform your front snap kicks from a neutral standpoint. Legs in, crossing over and back 5 times. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah! And inhale. Return. I know there's a lot of talk in between activity, but I really want you all to understand the core mechanics behind what you're doing. So you're not just going through the motions of Shotokan karate, because yes, it is an art. Yes, it is a new language. It's a foreign language for your whole body. And for many of you, it's the first time partaking in anything of the sort. But as you're starting to learn the language, I want you to know some of the meaning, some of the roots behind why the letters were formed the way they were. And why does it flow well from a kinesiological standpoint? Because from my perspective, the more you learn and the more you are aware of the art, the better and better of a practitioner you will be. It's my job to get you there, but through physiological means, through traditional teaching, through explorative teachings, along with integrated kinesiology, you'll get there the best as you can. For instance, and this is not what was covered in class today, but just as an example of how I like to break things up past the norm, and that's something like this. Traditional front snap kick, lunge. Front snap kick, lunge. Front snap kick, lunge. Why break tradition? You don't see that being taught often by traditional Shotokan karate instructors. I like to teach the traditional front snap kick and the lunge approach, because, for instance, when you get to the point of really fighting, you might not be able to kick from here. You might have been tossed down and then now you have to kick from the ground. So it makes sense in practicum to teach with as many variables as possible, because in the actual event of a tournament or a fight, chances are some of those non-theoreticals will occur. You know, if you only practice one way, and if you're ever thrown off in a tournament by somebody not reacting to that one way, there kind of goes the usefulness, right? So that's what we'll do as the class goes on, and you will learn tradition, strength, tradition, and modern strength and understanding combined into one, and it's my goal throughout this semester that you will get the best Shotokan karate training possible. Thank you for watching and bearing with me. I know it's been close to half an hour right now, so as homework, find any time that you can to watch this. I appreciate it, and I hope you all do well. See you next time. Sensei Gale signing out. Bye.